Hey guys, first time posting on a throwaway. Sorry for the length, but my hands are still shaking and I need to get this out before I second guess myself. Today was supposed to be a win. I had this small velvet box in my pocket, a vintage Hamilton watch I'd been saving for since April. Ashley, my wife, texted me an hour earlier. Got it. Senior director. Champagne at the office. Come by if you want kiss mark. I'm not rich, so that watch was 3 months of skipping lunches and side gigs after my logistics shift. I wanted to give it to her in front of her team, be the proud, dorky husband, take a photo, post it, move on with our lives. Ashley works at a company called Silvaline Supply in downtown Dallas. Big glass building. The kind where the air smells like filtered water and old money. I get to the reception desk, and the woman, Megan, blonde bob, kind smile that didn't reach her eyes, says Ashley's in a meeting with Mr. Whitman. That would be Charles Whitman, the CEO, Salt and Pepper, always in the glossy magazine spreads with charity galas and racehorses. While I'm waiting, this intern with a coffee stain, Tyler, smirks. Congrats to your wife. Heard she really earned it. Then I hear Ashley's champagne laugh through the mahogany doors, followed by Whitman's voice. You do deserve a promotion, especially after lying on your back for it. My thumb hits the voice recorder on my phone. I open the door. Ashley's on Whitman's lap, blazer open, heels on his desk, champagne in one hand. His hand is on her hip like it lives there. She doesn't flinch. She gives me the "you're embarrassing me" face. He goes silky. Mr. Miller, this is a private meeting. I set the gift bag down, take one clear photo, and pocket my phone. Congrats on the promotion, Ash. I say, calm in a way that scares me. You really did earn it. Security, Brandon, escorts me out like I'm a spill to mop. In the elevator, I forward the photo and audio to Cloud, my brother Evan's email, and a USB on my keychain. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Ashley starts texting. I'm dramatic, I don't get optics. I made her look insane. On the phone she says it was a joke. He spilled champagne. I'm jealous. If I blow this up she'll never forgive me. I hang up and get practical. Freeze the joint card, open my separate checking, turn off location sharing, tag the photo/audio with time and GPS, write down names. Megan the receptionist, Brandon security, Tyler the intern. I call Evan, 19, journalism savage. Hypothetical, I say. CEO sleeping with employees. Where do I start? He fires off ideas. Court filings, Glassdoor, LinkedIn resignations, vendor invoices, NDAs, board oversight. Driving out. A black Escalade cuts me off and parks across my bumper for 5 long seconds. Dashcam's rolling. Hazard lights blink. It slides away like nothing happened. A minute later, an unknown number texts. Delete the photo and the recording. We can make this go away. Last chance. Screenshot. Backup. Airplane mode. At home, I make 2 columns on a legal pad. What I know/what I can prove. Under prove, I list the photo, the audio, promotion, lying on your back, the threat text, witnesses who saw me arrive/leave. Under no, gut, I write what I already felt, late strategy sessions, the way sex turned into a chore, how she's been colder than the air in that lobby. Ashley storms in later. You will delete it, she says. Charles is like a mentor. You misunderstood. I tell her I recorded. She blinks, smiles like a shark, and says if I keep this up HR will frame me as unstable and she'll save her career. She sleeps in the guest room. At 10:42 p.m., Evan texts 2 settled harassment suits against a senior executive, a Glassdoor gem about promotions behind closed doors, and a list of names to watch. HR VP Diane Brooks, CFO Marcus King, Audit Chair Linda Ortiz, plus ex-employees Brittany, Sophie Hannah. At 11:03 p.m., a brand new Reddit account DMs my throwaway. You're not the first. Watch your back around Whitman. Then, 3 heavy knocks at the door. No one there. A white envelope on the mat. Inside, a blurry print of Ashley in a red dress with Whitman's hand on her back, time-stamped last Thursday at 11:48 p.m. Under it, in Sharpie, delete your evidence. The fear finally hits. Not heartbreak, fear. I lock up, line up the folder, the watch box I never got to give her, and write the last sentence of my night. I'm not the loud guy. I'm the guy with receipts. Morning. Ashley tries the "if you love me, delete it" routine. Says grown-ups understand optics. Calls me pathetic. Promises that if I start a moral crusade, I'll regret it. Cool. I go back to Silverline with a donut box and an apology from Megan. She slides me a post at Elm and 7th, 1 p.m. Don't stand here, she whispers. There are mics. My stomach learns a new kind of drop. Before lunch, I sweep my truck. No air tags, but I find a cheap GPS tracker zip-tied under the bumper, blinking red like a mosquito. Photo, bag, timestamp, spreadsheet entry. Bean Barn, 1 p.m. Megan shows up in a gray sweater, fear in her eyes. Off the record, she says. I didn't give you anything. She gives me everything. Promotions happen the way I saw, just less blatant sometimes. Diane Brooks, HR, calls it executive sponsorship. Women get raises, titles, then performance plans, sudden culture issues, and NDAs with generous separations. Accounting runs consulting fees to shell shops. ANJ Strategies LLC, Riverbend Consulting, Pearl Creek Advisors. She slides a printout, executive calendar. Repeating after-hours block named Strategy Sunset, Tuesdays/Thursdays, 9 to 11 p.m., booked by Diane. Notes on room bookings include COW, no AV needed, and champagne, Megan, please arrange. I ask why she's helping. She says she can't unhear the crying, Sophie, in the bathroom last winter, then gone to Phoenix with a severance smile and silence. She warns me about Brandon, security, and a side hustle helping people who pay. She leaves. A guy in a Navy cap follows 2 beats later. I snap his profile. My hands don't shake until he's gone. I hire an employment attorney, Noah Friedman, referred by a union buddy. Facts, not feelings, he says. I give him both anyway. He drafts litigation hold letters to force Silverline to preserve emails, cameras, badge logs. We send them certified to General Counsel Rachel Kim, Audit Chair Linda Ortiz, CFO Marcus King. Evan goes feral in public records. He finds that ANJ is a Delaware mail drop. Riverbend's owner, Alex Johnson, owns nothing. Pearl Creek is inactive, but took a $175,000 payment from a Silverline subsidiary last year. He dials Silverline's ethics hotline. It routes to Diane Brooks's desk. That's not a hotline. That's a cul-de-sac. At home, Ashley tries to weaponize HR. You will tell them you overreacted. Then, the whisper threat. If you say harassment, I'll say domestic. Who will they believe? The senior director or the guy with a logistics cap? My pocket recorder catches every syllable. That night, the power flickers twice. Email bounces hit my phone. Both Rachel Kim and Linda Ortiz's inboxes suddenly full. Certified letters are already in the mail, so nice try. Doorbell cam pings at 11:40 p.m. Navy cap from the coffee shop on my porch, looking right into the lens, slow thumb across the throat. He walks off like he's clocking out. I save it 6 ways and send to Noah and Evan. I set the unused watch next to my folder and make 2 lists. Who to trust, Evan, Noah, the cameras, the truth written down. And who to watch, Ashley, Whitman, Diane, Brandon, Navy cap, anyone who says, let's be adults. Then I circle the word strategy sunset until the paper almost tears. The next steps are now becoming more difficult. There will be no flying plates, no shouting in this story, just threads pulled in the right order. Megan was first. Second was Tyler, the smirking intern who said Ashley deserved it. People who smirk like that know where the bodies are. Quick reset for anyone jumping in. I caught my wife Ashley on CEO Charles Whitman's lap while he purred about her deserving a promotion for lying on your back. I recorded it, didn't blow up, then started mapping a pattern. After hours strategy sunset, champagne, HR, Diane, running the bookings, Shell consultancies, a GPS tracker under my truck, and a dude in a Navy cap doing a throat-slit gesture on my doorbell cam. My attorney, Noah, fired off litigation holds to their GC and board. Ashley has been on a lying/gaslighting world tour. Now, the intern. I waited across from Silverline at a taco truck where the aluminum foil tastes like nostalgia and regret. Tyler, the coffee stain intern who smirked about Ashley earning it, came out at 12:07 with 2 coworkers. I trailed just enough to look accidental. When he split off toward the park, I stepped beside him with a Gatorade and the kind of smile you practice in mirrors when you're trying not to look threatening. I'm not a cop, I said. I'm not TMZ. I just want what's true. He stared at the Gatorade like it was a grenade. Then he exhaled. I didn't sign up for whatever this is, he muttered. I'm trying to get a real job, man. We sat on a bench. I kept my hands on my knees. Tyler picked at the plastic label until it shredded. Diane makes me book the rooms and order the booze, he said, voice low. Conference C ice. Glasses. Corkscrews. Sometimes I have to run to the pharmacy for stuff. He winced. Once I left a box of condoms in the elevator. Brandon told me to get smarter. I've heard them. Not like watching, but I've heard it. Laughing. Doors locking. Mr. Whitman calling people star. Who? I asked. He swallowed. Ashley. He said first, and I felt nothing and everything. Also a girl named Brittany last year. Sophie before that. Hannah. They don't last. He looked around, then reached into his backpack and pulled out an ugly gray Android with a cracked corner. He has these, Tyler said. Whitman. Work phones. He hands them to the sponsored. Says it's for scheduling after hours and no IT snoops. This one got left in Conference C after strategy sunset. I was supposed to give it to Diane. He rubbed his thumb over a scuff. But my mom cleans houses for a living and I got weird about it. You kept it. He nodded once. I didn't open it, he said quickly. I don't want trouble, but I want out. Can you? He swallowed again. Can you get me a reference? Anywhere else. I can get you a lawyer if you want one, I said. And a reference if you need it. No guarantees, but I'll try. He stared at me like I was either his lifeline or his mistake. Watch Brandon, he whispered. He's not just security. He does side stuff. If you park in the same spot twice, he'll know. I thanked him, slipped the phone in a Faraday sleeve. Amazon panic buys are the unsung hero here, and walked away without looking back. My hands shook for the first time in 2 days. Noah's office is this narrow suite over a nail salon that smells like acetone and stale coffee. Exactly the kind of place where real work happens. He didn't touch the burner with bare hands. He slid it into an evidence bag and photographed the screen, still locked. If Tyler found it in a conference room and nobody has claimed it, we're not hacking, he said. We'll do a forensic image and preserve chain of custody. If it's a dud, it's a dud. If it's live, it's Christmas. While Noah labeled things, my phone buzzed with a new unknown number. Come to the loading dock behind Silverline. Alone. 1 hour. I stared at it until the letters blurred. Trap. Noah said, not looking up. Do not go. I wasn't going, I said, and meant it. But the message made the room feel smaller. At 3:19 p.m., my doorbell cam pinged. Ashley, midday, hair perfect, smile varnished. I let her in because the camera sees everything. Hey, baby, she sang, like the last 48 hours were a sitcom. We can fix this. Delete the photo and the audio. HR will reset the narrative. Charles will be generous. We can go to Cabo. Did he text you to say that? I asked. She blinked slowly. No, I'm saying that. Because I love you. She stepped closer, fingertips grazing my chest like we were in a toothpaste commercial. Let's not throw our marriage away over a joke and your pride. Come upstairs. We can reconnect. I missed us. She let the last word drop like lingerie. We can have sex right now and forget all of this. There was a time that would have scrambled my brain. Now it just made me tired. The doorbell camera is on, I said. My attorney hears these conversations. Do you want to try that again? The smile cracked. You're pathetic, she hissed. No one will believe you. I'll tell them you're insecure and trying to sabotage me. I'll tell them you threaten me when you drink. I don't drink, I said. She rolled her eyes. Details, she said, then stomped down the hallway to the guest room and slammed it like a gavel. At 5:02 p.m., my phone lit up with a blocked call. I almost let it go to voicemail. I picked up on the fourth ring. Mr. Miller, the voice said. Velvet on concrete. Whitman, let's be adults. Recordings are running, I said flat. A pause, then a chuckle that sounded practiced. You've misunderstood a celebratory joke between colleagues, he said. Your wife is a rising star. You will not sabotage her out of wounded masculinity. Return any proprietary material you wrongly acquired, and we can come to an arrangement. What kind of arrangement? I asked. Employment opportunities. Financial considerations, he said. Provided you understand discretion. Otherwise, you'll find Dallas a small town. People talk. Employers listen. Is that a threat? I asked. It's a fact, he said. Then, An edge I hadn't heard before. You do not want to make an enemy of me. He hung up. My hands went cold. My head went clear. There it was, his mask, hairline crack. At 6:30 p.m., 2 officers knocked on my door, polite, sideways stances, hands visible. We got a call about a domestic disturbance, the taller one said. Yelling, items thrown. I stepped back so the doorbell cam could see us all. Come in, I said. Cameras in the living room. Audio too. You'll hear dishes, because I cooked. And you'll hear Ashley telling me I'm pathetic. That's all. I pulled up the footage on the TV. We watched 10 minutes of our quiet, ugly normal. Looks like a false report, the shorter one muttered. He handed me a card. If anyone keeps calling this in, let us know. And keep recording. As they left, the silver Camry from last night slid by slow, windows dark. My phone cam caught half a plate number. I texted it to Noah and Evan. Noah texted back 5 minutes later. Forensic image complete. We're in. I drove to his office with my heart in my throat and my hazards flashing like a bad idea. Noah slid a printed transcript across the desk. At the top, Sunset Crew, group chat. A list of numbers, then names people used in the thread. Seahorse, Whitman obviously. D. Paperclip, Diane. A. S. Lipstick, Ashley. Brit Sparkles. H. Crescent Moon. The messages were gross in that particular HR nightmare way. Coded words that weren't coded at all, timestamps that lined up perfectly with our calendar. Seahorse, strategy tonight. Room C. No Avenue D. Paperclip, confirmed. Champagne set. Megan will arrange. A. S. Lipstick, running late, Charles. Tyler can grab the view. Seahorse, already handled. You are in every drop. A. S. Lipstick, Jason's being dramatic, but I'm handling him. We'll apologize later. Sex last night, so he calms down face with rolling eyes. I stared at that last line until the paper blurred. It wasn't the sex part. I knew what our last week looked like. It was the contempt. The ease of it. The way my name sat there like a dog she kicked on her way out the door. There were worse messages. One where Diane told C she'd cleaned up a Sophie situation, and Phoenix is a good climate. One where C sent a calendar screenshot with strategy sunset blocked for the next 6 weeks, and a note. Let's keep the team loyal. One where Brandon, added by D, said he'd sweep the dock and make sure no one gets cute. Timestamped the same afternoon I got the loading dock text. Chain of custody is clean, Noah said. We didn't guess the passcode. It was 0000. No expectation of privacy on a company-distributed device used for company scheduling. This is bad for them. I asked one question that surprised me by how steady it came out. How do we make it stick? 2 tracks, Noah said. Employment/harassment for the victims, EEOC intake, potential civil actions, whistleblower protections, and corporate governance, board and audit committee. They need to see that CFO Marcus is signing off on sham invoices to shell companies controlled by Whitman's buddies. That's fraud adjacent. Right on cue, my phone buzzed from a new number, Marcus King. I answered. He didn't bother with hello. I received a certified letter about a litigation hold. He said, clipped. I don't know what you think you're doing, Mr. Miller, but you're playing with matches in a fireworks factory. I think you should look at payments to ANJ Strategies, Riverbend Consulting, and Pearl Creek Advisors, I said. Check who authorized them. Cross-reference with conference room C bookings after 9 p.m. Then decide if you want to be in the crater or on the sidewalk. Silence. I could hear the buzz of fluorescent lights on his end. Finally, do you have documentation? He asked, voice careful in a way that told me he already knew the answer. I have enough to ruin a weekend, I said. And enough to ruin a career with the right eyes. Another silence. When he spoke again, it was lower. Send to audit at Silverline and to L. Ortiz at directly, he said. If you send to Rachel, it will die on her desk. Use the subject line preservation, potential scheme, and attach any metadata. Do not speak to Whitman. Do not come to the building. And do not tell anyone we spoke. Understood, I said. The mask was cracking. Not smashed yet, but the hairline had widened. I spent the next 3 hours in a cheap office chair with my spine screaming, building a clean package with Noah and Evan on speaker. The lobby photo, the audio clip, deserves, lying on your back. The Sunset Crew transcripts, the calendar printout from Megan, screenshots of the shell company registrations, the doorbell cam of Navy Cap, the text telling me to come to the loading dock, The GPS tracker photos, Ashley's. I'll call you abusive, threat, the police false call card, everything. Numbered, dated, and labeled like fossils. We uploaded to a locked folder and sent a link to AITA and L. Ortiz it with red receipts. Then we hit submit on an EOC intake form with witness checked for me. Potential victims for names I had, Brittany, Sophie, Hannah, and attached what we could without doxing Megan or Tyler. At 1:12 a.m., Linda Ortiz replied from her iPhone. Received. Do not contact me further. I will address. No emoji. No warmth. Perfect. At 1:26 a.m., Ashley banged on the guest room wall like I owed it rent. You are ruining everything, she shouted. Delete it all. Now. I looked at the watch I never gave her, ticking on the folder like the world's pettiest metronome, and realized something true and dumb and heavy. I was done wanting her to come back. The part of me that was bargaining died somewhere between the burner phone and sex last night, so he calms down. They always told stories where the cheater gets away because they're powerful and the betrayed spouse just screams into a pillow until they move on. I'm not moving on. I'm moving through, with names, times, and a subject line titled Potential Scheme. The first crack in Whitman's mask? It wasn't the phone call. It was Marcus calling me back. If you've been following, I caught my wife, Ashley, on CEO Charles Whitman's lap while he purred about her deserving a promotion for lying on your back. I recorded it, built a pattern, after-hours strategy sunset, champagne, HR booking the rooms, Shell consultancies, found a GPS tracker on my truck, and got threatened by a dude in a Navy cap on my porch cam. The intern, Tyler, handed me a work phone, burner, that my attorney imaged. Inside was a group chat, Sunset Crew, coordinating those nights. CFO Marcus told me where to send the dossier so it wouldn't die on the GC's desk. Audit Chair Linda acknowledged receipt at 1:12 a.m. The next morning started with the sound of my doorbell cam screaming. Navy cap again, closer this time. Hoodie up, gloved hand reaching to smear something over the lens. I hit the siren on the app and yelled through the speaker. Police called. You're on 3 cameras. He flinched, backed off, and got into the same silver Camry I'd seen cruising by. I grabbed the partial plate from last night, hit send to Noah, my attorney, and Evan, my brother, and then called non-emergency to add to the stalking report. When the cruiser rolled up, I met them on the porch with a manila folder like a PDA dad. The officer scanned the QR code to the clip, nodded, and said, we'll swing by a couple times tonight. It wasn't a shield. It was something. At 9:07 a.m., my inbox pinged. Silverline Special Committee formed. An all-staff email forwarded by Tyler. The language was sterile, outside counsel engaged, workplace culture review. But 2 names mattered. Whitman, administrative leave, Diane Brooks, leave pending investigation. The email told employees not to delete anything and to preserve phones used for scheduling. I felt that click in my chest. 1 brick out. Ashley must have seen it at the same time, because at 9:10 my phone lit up with, Ashley, what did you do? Ashley, you are sabotaging my life. Ashley, they put Charles on leave. You monster. Ashley, fix this. I didn't reply. I forwarded the text to Noah. Noah called. Outside counsel is Harrison and West. Serious people, he said. They'll interview everyone and demand devices. Expect blowback. Keep your head down. Blowback arrived at 11:30 when Ashley showed up with a manila folder and a smile like a blade. Mediation, she chirped, waving papers. HR says if you sign a statement admitting you overreacted, we can de-escalate. They'll reframe the narrative. We'll say you were stressed about money and misunderstood a joke. We can salvage my title. Your HR is on leave, I said. She blinked. Another HR, she snapped. You don't even know how companies work, Jason. I pointed at the camera. You're trying to get me to lie on tape. She leaned in close enough that I could smell her perfume. I will bury you, she whispered. Delete it all, or I will say you threatened me. I will cry in that officer's face, and I will get you out of this house in handcuffs. That was clarifying. I set my phone on the counter so the mic could breathe. Are you threatening to make a false report? I asked crisp. She stepped back, mask sliding. You're pathetic, she repeated, defaulting to the only brick she had left. Then she left, tires chirping like punctuation. At 1:02 p.m., my brother texted, Camry registered to Brandon Holtz, security. Same Brandon. Address, guess what? 2 blocks from Silverline. 10 minutes later, Noah emailed a draft for a temporary restraining order against unknown security contractor with a stack of exhibits. Porch cam, throat slit gesture, GPS tracker under my truck, the loading dock, come alone text. We filed by 3 p.m. A judge stamped it by 4:12. The ink wasn't dry when a detective called to ask for my clips. Saw your report, she said. The throat gesture is unsubtle. At 5:40 p.m., Harrison and West reached out. A young attorney named Priya asked if I'd sit for an interview as a witness. Off-site, recorded, your counsel present, she said. We also want the original metadata on the group chat extraction. We booked it for the next morning. Noah and I spent the night assembling a clean chain. The lobby photo, the audio, him. You do deserve a promotion, especially after lying on your back. The Sunset Crew transcripts with timestamps that matched Strategy Sunset calendar entries, booked by Diane. The Shell consultancy payments Evan found. Ashley's text threatening to paint me abusive. The cop's false call card. Porch cam of Navy cap. And a neat summary of Tyler's work phone and Megan's calendar printout, with both names. Blacked out in my copy and provided confidentially to counsel. We weren't there to be heroes. We were there to be useful. The interview felt like surgery. Bright room, cold water bottle sweating on a coaster, Priya's pen moving like a metronome. I told it like I wrote it. Dates, times, places, who said what. I didn't editorialize. When she asked what I wanted, I said, I want them to stop doing this to people who can't fight back. I want my wife's lies on the record. I want to walk away clean. After, in the hallway, Priya paused. You should know, she said carefully. We've already imaged a couple of devices. What you sent aligns. And people are talking. The receptionist? Brave. She didn't smile. She didn't need to. While I was still in Noah's office, Marcus called again. He didn't waste time on hello. The board has engaged forensic accountants, he said. Those vendors you flagged? Money looped back into an entity connected to Whitman's college roommate. The audit committee is not pleased. Untouchable? I asked, because I couldn't help it. Touched, he said. Deeply. At 2:30 p.m., my doorbell cam caught Ashley on the porch with a suitcase. She let herself in with her code and went straight to the master. I followed at a distance, phone recording, making sure all the valuables were already locked where they needed to be. She swept clothes into the suitcase like a thief on a timer, grabbed jewelry I paid for, and turned to me with a face carved out of contempt. You did this, she said. You killed my career because you couldn't stand not being the center of attention. You're small. You did this, I said back calm. You lied. You had sex with your boss. You tried to make me lie for you. And you threatened to make a false domestic abuse claim. I didn't make you do any of that. She opened her mouth, closed it, and left. The door slammed like a period. That night, Ashley's mom called me crying. She says you're smearing her, she said between hiccups. That Charles is like a father to her. I almost laughed, and then felt bad that I almost laughed. I'm sorry you're in the middle, I said. I'm not smearing anyone. I'm preserving evidence. That's all. We ended it there. 2 days later, the dam burst. First, Silverline put out a press release. Formal, stiff, but unmistakable. Whitman resigned to focus on his family. HR VP Diane separated from the company. A security contractor was terminated pending law enforcement review. The board reaffirmed its commitment to a safe workplace, which is board speak for we saw the receipts. Priya emailed me privately. The special committee had recommended changes, real hotline, outside ombuds, and an apology, off record, to names I'd provided. Ex-employee Sophie's attorney reached out to Noah to coordinate. Brittany had already filed an EOC charge. Tyler got a paid week off and, through one of Noah's contacts, an interview at a legit firm. Megan gave a statement and took 2 personal days. Small wins that didn't feel small. Second, Ashley. She was suspended pending investigation and then separated. She texted me a photo of a cardboard box on her desk like it was proof of martyrdom. Happy now, she wrote. You ruined me. I didn't reply. I filed for divorce the next morning. Property split outlined. Joint account freeze formalized. TRO appended to protect me from Navy caps and late-night dramatics. When she got served, she blew up my phone. A tornado of rage, then bargaining, then threats, then silence. You'd think the scariest part was the night someone smeared my camera, or the throat-slit gesture, or the bogus domestic call. It wasn't. The scariest part was the first hour after I sent the dossier. I've never felt smaller or more exposed. But here's the thing about being the quiet guy with receipts. The fear doesn't vanish. It gets organized. Dates, times, names, attachments. It stacks up into something you can stand on. I won't pretend I'm a hero. I'm a warehouse guy who learned to hit record. The heroes are the people who risked rent to talk. Megan with the tremble in her voice. Tyler with the stupid cracked Android. Sophie disappearing to Phoenix and then deciding to be found. And, weirdly, Marcus, the CFO who saw the train coming and decided not to lay on the tracks. Final unexpected twist? A letter showed up from Linda Ortiz, hand-signed, on heavy paper. No apology, no warm fuzzies. Just, thank you for choosing documentation over spectacle. I read it 3 times and put it in the folder with everything else. The watch, the one I never gave Ashley, sat on my kitchen table for a week like a dare. On Saturday, I took it to a jeweler and had the back engraved. Not yours to fix, JM. Then I slipped it in a drawer. It's not a trophy. It's a reminder. I started running again. I sleep mostly. I blocked numbers I should have blocked months ago. I set up therapy. I cooked myself an actual breakfast that didn't come in a paper bag. I took my brother to a Rangers game and didn't think about mahogany doors or champagne once. When the wind hits me right, I can breathe all the way down to my toes. This isn't a story about smashing plates or torching a career on Instagram. It's the story of how patience, paper trails, and a few brave people pried up the corner of a rotten empire and let in daylight. The cheaters lost everything that mattered to them. Power, title, the illusion of being untouchable. Me? I walked away. Not broken. Tired, sure, but stronger than I've ever been.